I mean, I may get a lot of licks for saying this, but while the CEO is entitled to use all of the days that he's been assigned under the order, one would hope that the anxiety of the nation would be factored in and into the equation, and that process, this process, would be done with a certain degree of alacrity. But we are waiting. You would have seen my my social media update today. I've had no less than several hundred calls inquiring as to what is happening. And I'm a small fraction in this puzzle. I have no doubt that everyone else is being bombarded. The media perhaps is being bombarded because you are deemed to have some further information. So that's where we are. We are patiently awaiting the report from the CEO to have it discussed. After that report is received, I anticipate that the chairman will call a meeting, Justice Singh will call a meeting as soon as possible thereafter for us to discuss the contents of that report. And now I don't anticipate at this point, I don't want to preempt what the CEO's report will say, but I don't anticipate at this point that it may have allocation of seats, etc. So I anticipate that once we get that report, we look at it, we recognize what the extent of the jurisdiction and the ambit of our authority that we have as a commission. And in recognition of that, there is only so much we can do, and we are bound between the four corners of the law in terms of our authority. When we receive that, I reckon that in short order thereafter, the CEO will then be directed to just come back perhaps with a calculation of his seats, etc., and have that done.
Could you explain what sort of role the CARICOM report will form in the discussions at the commission level?
At the risk of sounding pejorative and at the risk of sounding as though the CARICOM team had a superfluous role, that far be it from my intention. But it is recognized that the CARICOM report, the presence of it will be persuasive perhaps in our discussions, but the absence does not place any restrictions on our discussion of our documents to finality. So if we have the report, we have it. If we don't, we don't. It does not stop our process. It does not.
And could you say then, when the CEO presents his report, how long the commission has?
The commission has 3 days. 3 days. By order, it says that the commission shall declare no later than 3 days. I'm paraphrasing that. But the commission shall declare no later than 3 days from the receipt of the report from the CEO. So this is all written there. It is there for the interpretation. It's there for the examination by anyone. Like I said, I understand, I appreciate that the CEO has up to the 13th, but given the timelines that were discussed in arriving at that date, and given the fact that there has clearly been savings in terms of time in relation to, one, the recount finished, I believe, a day or two earlier than it was expected, that we factored in. Two, the certification process in terms of the tabulation finished ahead of schedule. So the time, the 5 days that the CEO asked, we're more or less exhausted at. But like I said, the order says the 13th. I would love to have it before. This nation, the world, would love to have it before. Simple as that.